It all started with a statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. After the Warriors' victory over the Lakers, Draymond Green broke his silence and spoke in a tone no one expected. Reporters were still setting up their microphones when he leaned forward and said, "What LeBron's going through? I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy." The room froze. It wasn't just about competition anymore. It was personal, raw, and filled with empathy that no one saw coming from one of the league's most intense rivals. Fans who once saw Draymond as LeBron's on-court nemesis suddenly witnessed something deeper: respect forged through pain, battles, and the understanding of what it takes to stay great when your body starts fighting against you. LeBron James, sidelined by sciatica, had been a ghostly presence that night. Sitting at the end of the bench in street clothes, he watched his team struggle while the Warriors took control. For the first time in years, the energy between these two teams felt strange, incomplete. The king wasn't on the court and everyone could feel it. Draymond, who had clashed with LeBron in multiple NBA finals, admitted that facing the Lakers without him felt unnatural. "It's always different when he's not out there," he said. "You prepare for LeBron James. You build a game plan around him. And when he's missing, the entire dynamic changes." The honesty in his voice caught even veteran reporters off guard. As he continued, Draymond spoke about the sciatica issue with surprising detail, describing symptoms that mirrored what LeBron was enduring. "I've been there," he confessed. "You wake up and it feels like electricity running down your leg. You can't sit, you can't stand, you just exist in pain." His words painted a brutal picture of what LeBron might be facing. Fans watching the press conference later couldn't help but wonder, is this injury worse than the Lakers are admitting? The concern wasn't just about missing a few games, it was about the uncertainty of nerve damage, something that doesn't follow a fixed recovery timeline. Meanwhile, the tension in the Lakers' locker room grew. Without LeBron, the leadership mantle fell heavily on Luka Doncic, who was still adjusting to life under the bright lights of Los Angeles. Luka delivered a monster performance that night, dropping 38 points, but it wasn't enough to carry the Lakers past the Warriors. "You could feel the absence of LeBron's voice," one insider later revealed. "He's not just the captain on the floor, he's the emotional core of that team." The footage of LeBron standing up and clapping from the sidelines looked supportive on the surface, but behind the smile, there was frustration at being forced to watch instead of lead. The NBA world began to speculate. Was this the start of LeBron's decline, or just another obstacle in his legendary career? The mention of sciatica instantly brought back memories of athletes whose careers had been derailed by nerve issues. Yet, if there's one thing history has shown, it's that LeBron James doesn't stay down for long. Still, Draymond's empathy carried a weight that made everyone listen. For years he was painted as LeBron's antagonist, the emotional warrior who fueled Golden State's fire. But that night his message was different. It wasn't about rivalry. It was about survival, respect, and the brutal reality of aging in a sport that demands constant perfection. As Draymond finished his interview, he looked straight into the cameras and said, "I hope he takes all the time he needs. The league isn't the same without him." It was the kind of moment that transcended competition, a genuine glimpse into the mutual respect between two icons who've battled for supremacy for over a decade. And as the press conference ended, one thing became clear. The Warriors may have won the game, but everyone left talking about LeBron James. His pain, his legacy, and the haunting uncertainty of when or if he'll return to dominate again. When Draymond Green walked into the post-game conference, the air in the room seemed to tighten. Everyone expected the usual talk about defense, rotations, or shooting percentages, but instead, Green leaned toward the microphone and said something that instantly caught fire across the NBA world. "You can't replace LeBron James. And I'll be honest, facing the Lakers without him just doesn't feel real." The statement echoed through the press room, setting the tone for what would become one of the most talked about moments of the night. His words weren't just about basketball. They sounded almost like respect wrapped in rivalry, admiration hidden behind the armor of a competitor who's been in the trenches with the king himself. For years, Green has been both LeBron's adversary and admirer, a warrior molded by those finals battles that defined a generation. Draymond then described what it was like seeing LeBron on the sidelines in plain clothes, not wearing his usual gold and purple armor. "You see him there, sitting out, and it's weird. This league just feels different when LeBron's not on the court," he said. To many it might sound like just another compliment, but from Green it carried weight. After all, few players know LeBron's intensity better than Draymond. They've exchanged blows, words, and moments that will live forever in NBA history. Yet now, instead of trading elbows under the rim, one of them watched helplessly as the other carried the torch of competition. Green's tone had a strange sincerity, the kind that made fans pause and wonder if, beneath all the battles, there's a sense of mutual respect deeper than anyone thought. And then came the moment that made headlines. Green opened up about the pain of sciatica. His words turned raw and real as he painted a picture of what LeBron might be going through. "Man, that pain's no joke. I've been there. You're just sitting down and suddenly your leg jumps, your back locks up, and you can't even find comfort standing still," he said, his voice carrying a mix of empathy and grim recollection. In that moment, it wasn't a warrior talking about a Laker. It was a man who's lived through the same torment, acknowledging another's fight. For fans, it was a rare glimpse into the human side of two titans of the game, stripped of team colors and pride. The media leaned in closer as Draymond continued. "I don't wish that kind of pain on anybody," he admitted. "It's the type of thing that humbles you. Makes you remember that this game we play, it's beautiful but it's brutal." The words hung heavy in the air, echoing a truth that's easy to forget amid the bright lights and roaring crowds. Behind every dunk, every buzzer beater, there's a body that breaks down, a mind that pushes past the edge just to keep chasing greatness. LeBron's absence wasn't just a loss for the Lakers. It was a reminder that even legends bleed, and that the line between dominance and fragility is thinner than anyone dares to admit. As the night went on, whispers began to swirl. Would this injury linger? Would LeBron's return take longer than expected? Green didn't feed the speculation, but his tone said enough. "There's no real timetable for that kind of thing," he said quietly. "You just have to fight it day by day." Coming from a man who once faced the same invisible enemy, those words resonated. The game had ended hours ago, but somehow this felt like the real story, not the score, not the highlights, but the unseen battle between pain, pride, and perseverance. A battle that, for once, both Warriors and Lakers could understand. As the cameras clicked and the lights dimmed, Draymond Green leaned back in his chair, his expression half proud, half thoughtful. The Warriors had won by 10 points, but victory seemed to mean less that night. When asked what it was like to face a LeBron-less Lakers squad, Green hesitated, just long enough for everyone to feel the weight of what was coming. "It's strange," he said slowly. "It's like walking into a fight where your rival's armor is missing. You don't celebrate it, you just feel the absence." The room fell silent. For a man known for his trash talk and fiery energy, the softness in his tone was unexpected. It was as if the competitive fire that once burned between these two giants had turned into something else. Mutual respect forged through years of collision and chaos. Reporters scrambled to catch every word, sensing that this wasn't just post-game chatter, it was the continuation of a story that had begun a decade ago. From the finals battles between the Warriors and Cavaliers to the new era of Lakers versus Golden State, Draymond and LeBron had been two sides of the same coin. Both leaders, both warriors in every sense of the word, both obsessed with greatness. But tonight, the fire that had fueled their rivalry was replaced by something more somber. "When I look across and don't see him there," Green said, "I feel like part of the game's missing. It's not just about competition. It's about history, legacy, and what we've built by facing each other over and over." The mention of legacy struck a chord. Because when Draymond talked about LeBron, it wasn't just admiration, it was reflection. Both men were aging warriors, bodies marked by years of relentless battles. Sciatica wasn't a simple injury, it was a sign. A whisper from time itself, reminding even the strongest that every step forward comes with a price. Draymond had learned that the hard way, through pain that refused to fade and nights spent awake with nerves on fire. "That kind of pain doesn't let you sleep," he said once in an older interview. Now, as LeBron faced the same demon, Draymond's sympathy came from experience, not pity. It was the respect of a soldier who knows what it means to keep fighting when your body says stop. In a quiet moment between questions, someone asked if Green thought LeBron would come back soon. He smiled faintly, shaking his head. "LeBron doesn't quit. Never has. But this kind of thing doesn't follow a schedule. You can ice it, stretch it, rest it, but nerves don't care. They do what they want." The words carried a kind of truth only athletes who've lived it could understand. And yet, beneath the realism, there was an undercurrent of faith, the unspoken belief that LeBron would find a way back like he always had. For all the fierce competition between them, Green knew better than anyone that greatness doesn't fade easily. Outside the arena, fans debated endlessly. Some said LeBron should rest for as long as necessary. Others demanded his return, fearing that the Lakers' season could slip away without him. But none of them truly understood the pain he was fighting, the invisible enemy that steals strength in silence. Inside that press room, Draymond did. "You live with it all day," he said, describing the agony. Your leg jumps, your back tightens, and suddenly you're reminded that your body has limits. It was rare honesty from a man who'd spent years hiding pain behind aggression and bravado. In that confession he sounded less like a trash talker and more like a veteran warrior, one who'd seen enough battles to know that even kings can fall. And maybe that's what made his message so powerful. Because beneath all the rivalry, beneath all the championships and highlight reels, there was something deeply human about it, the acknowledgement that every legend, no matter how untouchable they seem, is still flesh and bone. Draymond's words weren't just about LeBron's injury, they were about the passage of time, the fight to keep defying it, and the silent respect between two men who've carried the weight of eras. It was the kind of moment that reminded everyone watching that the NBA isn't just about points or trophies, it's about stories, endurance, and the fragile beauty of greatness under pressure. The night after the game, social media exploded. Hashtags like #LeBronComeback and #RespectFromDraymond dominated every feed. Fans couldn't believe what they'd heard. Draymond Green, the same man once known for his fiery rivalry and even mid-game clashes with LeBron, was now expressing deep concern and admiration. It wasn't the usual back and forth between two competitors. It was something more heartfelt, almost poetic. The clip of Draymond saying, "You don't celebrate it, you feel the absence," spread like wildfire. For younger fans it was shocking. For those who'd followed the battles of the past decade, it felt like watching two gladiators no longer fighting, but acknowledging the toll the war had taken on them both. Analysts on every sports network dissected the moment. Some called it the most human quote of the season. Others wondered if Draymond was signaling the beginning of a new era, one where respect overtook rivalry. But beneath all the noise, there was something deeper stirring. Draymond's empathy wasn't just sportsmanship, it was understanding. He had lived through the same pain LeBron now faced. Sciatica is not just a physical injury, it's a test of will. The constant shooting pain, the numbness, the way it disrupts sleep and movement, it wears you down mentally. And for an athlete like LeBron, whose career has been defined by consistency, that kind of uncertainty is the ultimate opponent. Inside the Lakers camp, the mood was quiet but focused. Luka Doncic, who had taken the reins in LeBron's absence, spoke about how strange it felt not having him around. "You can feel when he's missing," Luka said in a post-game interview. "It's not just about scoring or leadership, it's the energy. The whole atmosphere changes." Even the younger players seemed affected, suddenly realizing that their idol, the man who had defied time for over 2 decades, was mortal after all. The sight of LeBron in street clothes, sitting calmly on the bench, felt almost wrong, like a storm that had lost its thunder. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the Warriors were talking too. Steve Kerr, always a voice of balance, praised LeBron's longevity and said what many were thinking: "It's rare to see a player at his age still defining the league. You don't replace someone like that." And yet, it was Draymond's next words that truly shook fans. During a private conversation caught by cameras, he said, "You know, if he ever played with us, it would break the league." The statement wasn't meant to go public, but once it did, it sent fans into a frenzy. The idea of LeBron, even hypothetically, joining forces with the Warriors was unthinkable, almost apocalyptic for basketball purists. But the curiosity it sparked was undeniable. Speculation began immediately. Could Draymond's wish for recovery be more than just friendly respect? Was there a hidden message behind his comments? A door slightly open to a future alliance? Fans debated endlessly, imagining a universe where LeBron teamed up with Curry and Green, where enemies became allies in pursuit of one final historic run. It sounded like fantasy, but then again, in the world of basketball, stranger things had happened. And Draymond's words, delivered with such authenticity, only added fuel to the fire. Across the NBA landscape, it felt like something was shifting. The league had entered a strange moment, a bridge between eras. The icons of the 2010s, once fierce rivals, were now veterans acknowledging their shared mortality. LeBron's battle with pain mirrored Draymond's aging body and Curry's quiet reflections on legacy. Every passing season felt heavier, every game more meaningful. And for fans, it wasn't just about wins anymore, it was about witnessing the twilight of greatness. The bond between these players, once forged in competition, had evolved into something more sacred: respect. As the headlines grew louder, one question echoed everywhere. Was Draymond hinting at something? His tone, his words, his timing, it all felt too deliberate to be random. "It's always different when he's not out there," he had said. But maybe what he really meant was, it's time for something new. A revelation. A possibility? Or maybe just a glimpse of the unspoken truth between legends, that even in rivalry there's brotherhood. And as fans replayed the clip again and again, one thing became clear. The story between LeBron James and Draymond Green was far from over. It was simply evolving into its most unpredictable chapter yet. By the time the dust settled and the media storm calmed, something strange was happening around the league. The energy had shifted. Every camera that caught Draymond Green now had a question attached to it. What did he really mean? His remarks about LeBron's absence, the empathy, and that cryptic comment about breaking the league had created a web of speculation too big to control. ESPN panels began running what-if simulations, fans flooded social media with imagined lineups, and even former players started weighing in. The once simple wish for a speedy recovery had transformed into a coded message, a whisper of something bigger than a rivalry, a sign that history might be on the verge of rewriting itself. Inside the Lakers' locker room, the atmosphere was a mix of determination and quiet tension. J.J. Redick, in his calm but sharp way, addressed the team before practice. "Noise is everywhere," he said. "We focus on our work." But even his voice carried an edge. Everyone could feel the weight of the conversation surrounding LeBron. Would he return soon? Was this injury just another small chapter in his unstoppable story, or was it the first real sign that time was catching up? Luka Doncic remained composed on the outside, but those close to him said he felt the pressure of carrying the Lakers alone. He admired LeBron deeply, but he also knew this was a test, not just of his skill but of his leadership. Meanwhile, in the Bay Area, Draymond Green found himself in an unusual spotlight. The same player who had once been painted as LeBron's greatest antagonist was now being seen as his unexpected ally. When asked about the rumors of potential collaboration or hidden meanings behind his words, he laughed it off. "Man, people love to read between the lines," he said, smirking. "I just said what I felt. But if you think I'd say no to playing with greatness, you don't know me." The line hit like lightning. Fans froze, journalists leaned in, and the internet did what it always does, explode. Was that confirmation? Or just another one of Draymond's psychological games? The Lakers' upcoming schedule didn't help. The next matchup was against the Boston Celtics, the eternal rival, the team that had always symbolized endurance and legacy. But this time, LeBron wouldn't be there. Cameras focused on him as he walked into the arena in plain clothes, his gait slow but his eyes sharp, studying every play from the sidelines. The commentary booth couldn't help but highlight the absence. "This is what sciatica does," one analyst said softly. "It's invisible pain. You look fine until you move and then the fire shoots through you." Every time LeBron shifted in his seat, fans watched nervously. Every small smile or grimace became an omen, a clue to how serious it really was. Yet beneath the surface, there was a feeling that LeBron was watching more than just the game. He was calculating. Observing how the team moved without him. Studying how Luka took command. Watching who rose to the occasion and who folded under the pressure. It wasn't about ego, it was about legacy. LeBron James has always been a man of control, a strategist in sneakers. And now, with his body demanding rest, his mind was more active than ever. The thought of teaming up with Draymond, or any kind of late career alliance, might have seemed like fantasy before. But maybe now, as the league evolved, as the old rivalries softened into mutual respect, it wasn't so far-fetched after all. After the game, a reporter asked Luka about the swirling rumors. He smiled slightly and said, "I don't know about all that. I just know we're playing for him until he's back." His words were simple, but the tone, calm, confident, loyal, was exactly what fans needed. It reminded everyone that while LeBron's story was legendary, the future was already unfolding. Luka was proving himself night after night, carrying not just the weight of expectation, but also the spirit of the team. And somewhere deep inside the Lakers' training facility, LeBron was watching, resting, planning, and perhaps quietly waiting for his next statement to shake the league again. No one knew when he would return, or how strong he'd be when he did. But one thing was certain, Draymond's words had changed something forever. The line between rivalry and brotherhood had blurred. The NBA, once defined by clear enemies and alliances, was becoming something more complex, something more human. And as the lights dimmed after another tense game, fans around the world were left asking themselves one burning question. Was this just the beginning of the end, or the start of a new dynasty built from the ashes of old battles? It all started quietly, no announcement, no camera crew, no dramatic post on social media. Just LeBron James stepping into the Lakers' private gym long before dawn, the sound of sneakers against hardwood echoing in an empty room. His body was still recovering, but his mind was locked in. Every stretch burned, every drill tested his limits. He wasn't chasing headlines anymore, he was chasing himself. The whispers about his sciatica had spread everywhere. Is he done? Can he still carry the Lakers? But LeBron had heard it all before. This time, though, there was something different in his eyes. Determination mixed with the quiet fear of knowing time doesn't wait for anyone. Behind the scenes, the team's medical staff kept a cautious watch. Sciatica wasn't something to gamble with. One wrong movement, one extra push, and the nerve pain could flare again worse than before. But LeBron refused to be treated like a fragile legend. "Let me feel it," he told his trainers. "If it hurts, I'll know where to fix it." That line, pure LeBron, reflected the mindset of a man who built his empire by defying limits. Yet even as he trained in silence, word began to leak out. Draymond Green's earlier comments about wishing him well, and that cryptic hint of respect, had reignited speculation. Was this rivalry turning into something more? A strange alliance between two warriors who'd spent years trying to destroy each other on the court? Meanwhile, the Lakers' locker room was adjusting to life without their king. Luka Doncic had stepped up, not just as a scorer, but as the emotional anchor of the team. His 40-point nights and commanding presence had silenced doubts, yet behind closed doors he often checked his phone, waiting for a message from LeBron. "Keep leading," LeBron had texted once, followed by nothing else. That short sentence had carried more weight than an entire speech. For Luka, it was permission, not just to fill the void but to redefine it. The Lakers were evolving and so was he. The idea of playing alongside a fully healthy LeBron again became more than motivation. It became destiny. Draymond Green, however, wasn't done stirring the pot. During a podcast interview, he was asked again about LeBron's injury, and this time his answer set social media on fire. "You can't count that man out," Draymond said. "He's not done. And if life ever put us on the same side, man, you'd have to rewrite basketball." The internet exploded. Within hours, fans flooded Twitter with wild mock-ups of LeBron and Draymond wearing the same jersey, debating how unstoppable that combination would be. Analysts called it impossible. Insiders called it unthinkable. But to those who truly knew the league's rhythm, nothing was impossible anymore. Inside his home, LeBron saw the clip. He didn't react, at least not outwardly. He just smiled. Maybe it was amusement. Maybe it was a spark of something else. A thought that had been lurking quietly in the back of his mind. What if? For a man obsessed with legacy, every chapter mattered. And alliances, even the strangest ones, sometimes shaped history. The same way he once joined forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh to rewrite the NBA's power structure, maybe this was another opportunity to change the narrative. But he knew better than anyone, talk meant nothing. Only action rewrote stories. As the Lakers prepared for a crucial matchup against the Phoenix Suns, J.J. Redick made it clear, "We're not waiting for LeBron to save us. We're building until he returns." The message resonated. Every practice became a statement. Every possession became a battle cry. The Lakers were learning to survive without their leader, but in the shadows, the king was sharpening his crown. Slowly, methodically, LeBron was coming back. The pain was still there, but so was the fire. Each day, the line between suffering and strength blurred, until both became one. And when the lights in the practice facility dimmed that night, LeBron stood alone, dripping with sweat, staring at his reflection in the window. The whispers, the doubts, the endless questions, they didn't bother him anymore. "Rewrite basketball," he muttered softly, repeating Draymond's words. Then, with a faint grin, he added, "Let's see if they're ready for that." It wasn't just a comeback anymore. It was a warning. A promise that the story wasn't over, it was only about to begin. It was a moment that immediately caught the attention of everyone watching, though few could fully grasp its implications. The Los Angeles Lakers, a team built around one of the greatest players of all time, faced off against the Golden State Warriors on opening night, but LeBron James, their cornerstone, was absent. The reason? Sciatica, a debilitating nerve condition that has troubled athletes for decades. Draymond Green, who has dealt with similar struggles himself, didn't hold back in expressing how unusual it felt to play against the Lakers without LeBron on the court. The Warriors' 10-point victory was notable not just for the scoreboard but for the absence that shifted the entire dynamic of the game. Green's commentary after the match underscored the deep respect he holds for LeBron while simultaneously hinting at the vacuum his absence created, particularly for rising stars like Luka Doncic, who have stepped into the spotlight in his stead. Green recalled the countless battles he and LeBron shared over the years, spanning from their historic matchups in the NBA Finals during LeBron's time with the Cleveland Cavaliers to the recent playoff and play-in tournament encounters since his arrival in Los Angeles. It's always different when he's not out there, Green explained. Luka's an incredible player, no doubt, but LeBron is LeBron. The moments we've had over the years, those are the ones you look forward to as a competitor. Seeing him sit in street clothes instead of on the court, it's disorienting. You feel the absence immediately and it changes how the entire team moves, reacts, and plans. His words emphasize that while Luka Doncic has filled the scoring gap admirably, there's no replacement for the leadership, presence, and sheer skill LeBron brings, especially in high-stakes games against formidable opponents like the Warriors. Beyond the respect and acknowledgement of LeBron's impact, Green also offered insight into the severity of sciatica and why it should not be underestimated. Having endured similar conditions, he conveyed empathy for the struggles of managing constant nerve pain, cramps, and discomfort that can disrupt every movement and thought. "I've lived through what LeBron is facing now," Green said. "Every day just standing or walking, the nerve shoots down your leg and your glute seize up. It's relentless. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. My wish for him is a full, speedy recovery, but the reality is there's no definitive timetable for healing. You have to manage it carefully and patience is key." Green's frankness revealed not just the physical toll but the mental strain that comes with recovering from such an injury while remaining one of the game's top competitors. LeBron's absence also exposed a recurring issue for the Lakers: their vulnerability in third quarters. On this particular night, a poor start to the third period allowed the Warriors to dominate, outscoring Los Angeles 19-4 immediately after halftime. This pattern has plagued the team for years, and head coach J.J. Redick stressed the urgency of addressing it. "Third quarters have been a problem," Redick stated bluntly. "We can't afford to start flat after halftime, especially without LeBron leading the way. Every possession counts, and this is something we need to correct immediately to stay competitive in every matchup." The combination of LeBron's injury and historical team lapses illuminated the challenge the Lakers face as they try to maintain championship aspirations while adapting to new circumstances. Amid all the speculation, commentary, and analysis, one truth remained evident: LeBron James is relentless. Though sidelined, his presence is felt everywhere, from locker rooms to court strategies, and his competitors like Draymond Green remain acutely aware of the difference his absence makes. Green's public remarks, mixing respect, insight, and subtle tension, hinted at the anticipation both sides feel for LeBron's eventual return. Whether it's the ongoing rivalry with the Warriors or his leadership on the Lakers, every recovery day counts. Fans and analysts alike are left wondering: when LeBron returns, will the Lakers reclaim their dominant form, and how will the Warriors adjust to face him once again? The answers lie ahead, but one thing is certain: the anticipation is building, and every moment without him has only amplified the stakes. This chapter in the ongoing Lakers-Warriors saga underscores more than just a single game or injury. It highlights the intricate interplay of respect, rivalry, physical limits, and strategic adaptation that defines modern professional basketball. As the season progresses, LeBron's health, the Lakers' adjustments, and the responses of rivals like Draymond Green will continue to shape narratives, inspire discussion, and drive the tension that keeps fans engaged. The saga is far from over, and the world is watching every step, every recovery session, and every play, waiting for the inevitable collision when LeBron James returns to the court against the Warriors once again, promising a showdown that blends history, competition, and legacy into one electrifying story. This is not just another injury report. This is a story about resilience, leadership, and the delicate balance between physical limitations and competitive drive at the highest level of professional basketball. Draymond Green's candid reflections, combined with the Lakers' strategic adjustments and LeBron's patient yet determined recovery, create a narrative that is as compelling as any game-winning shot. The anticipation builds not only for the fans but for the players themselves, who understand that every matchup carries history, expectation, and the weight of legacy. The next encounter with the Warriors will not merely be a game. It will be a test of endurance, skill, and the relentless spirit of one of basketball's greatest icons. The Lakers' journey continues, and LeBron James' recovery is at the center of it all. The implications for the team, for rivals, and for the unfolding season are immense. Every move, every practice, and every statement from both LeBron and his competitors contributes to a story that is unfolding live before the world. As Draymond Green so aptly put it, there's no timetable, only the grind, the anticipation, and the inevitable return of a player whose presence changes the very dynamics of every court he steps onto. The NBA waits, the fans watch, and the rivalry simmers, because when LeBron James is back, history will once again collide with the present in a spectacle no one can ignore. The Lakers' locker room was unusually quiet the morning after the opening night loss to the Warriors. The absence of LeBron James hung over the team like a shadow, and every player seemed acutely aware of the void left by their leader. Coaches and staff moved with purpose, reviewing footage, analyzing strategies, and trying to compensate for the absence of the man who has been the engine of the franchise for nearly 2 decades. J.J. Redick addressed the team with a mix of urgency and encouragement, emphasizing that the rest of the season would demand resilience, adaptability, and leadership from everyone, not just LeBron. "We've got to pick up the slack," he told the group. "It's not just about talent, it's about commitment, focus, and seizing every opportunity while he's out. This is our moment to prove we can perform under pressure." Outside the locker room, the Warriors' locker room was buzzing with a different energy. Draymond Green, having just dealt with the Lakers' relentless offense and Luka Doncic's breakout performance, shared insights with his teammates. His remarks about LeBron's absence and the impact it had on the court were candid, yet they carried a tone of respect that reminded everyone of the legendary battles the two stars had waged over the past decade. Green's perspective highlighted how much of the NBA narrative is shaped not just by physical performance but by the presence, or absence, of icons like LeBron. His words were both a warning and a compliment. Facing the Lakers without LeBron is different, but the team still commanded respect, particularly when Luka carried the offensive load. Media coverage exploded the following day, dissecting every moment of the game, every missed play, and every strategic adjustment. Analysts debated the Lakers' chances while LeBron's sciatica remained a focal point of discussion. Some speculated that his return could shift the balance immediately, while others questioned whether the team could maintain cohesion during his absence. Headlines painted the situation as critical, emphasizing the nerve condition as a persistent threat, capable of flaring up unexpectedly. Yet amidst the speculation, one theme emerged: LeBron's influence extends beyond the court. His presence, or absence, affects morale, strategy, and the perception of opponents, creating a ripple effect felt across the league. As the week progressed, the Lakers' practice sessions became a test of endurance and chemistry. Without LeBron directing the floor, other players were forced to take on more responsibility, adjusting rotations, shot selections, and defensive schemes. Luka Doncic, while already a formidable talent, faced added pressure to sustain performance at a championship-caliber level. Coaches closely monitored the team's energy, understanding that overcompensation could lead to mistakes or fatigue, while underperformance could compound the challenges caused by the star's absence. Every drill, every scrimmage, and every strategy meeting carried heightened stakes, as the team worked to maintain cohesion in anticipation of LeBron's eventual return. In parallel, LeBron James embarked on a meticulous recovery regimen. Physical therapy sessions, targeted exercises, and careful monitoring of his sciatica were prioritized above all else. The Lakers' medical staff emphasized that rushing him back could exacerbate the condition, potentially affecting not only his current season but his long-term mobility and effectiveness on the court. LeBron's reputation for resilience and discipline meant that while he pushed for progress, he also respected the limitations imposed by his injury. Meanwhile, teammates and fans alike awaited updates, aware that every increment of recovery brought them closer to the moment when the full force of LeBron James would once again dominate the hardwood. The unfolding narrative positioned the Lakers at a crossroads. Each game played without LeBron became both a challenge and an opportunity, a proving ground for rising stars, role players, and coaching staff alike. Every interaction, from media statements to practice drills, contributed to the growing tension surrounding the team's performance. As Draymond Green and the Warriors prepared for upcoming matchups, they too monitored the Lakers' adaptation closely. The anticipation of LeBron's return added a psychological dimension to the rivalry, intensifying every matchup in a season already charged with stakes, history, and legacy. The chapter closing on this week emphasized that basketball is more than skill. It is a complex interplay of leadership, resilience, strategy, and adaptation. The absence of a single player, especially one of LeBron James' stature, reverberates far beyond the statistics, influencing the psychology of teams, opponents, and fans alike. The Lakers faced a delicate balance, maintaining competitive integrity while preparing for the inevitable return of their leader. Meanwhile, Draymond Green's reflections reminded the league of the intangible qualities that define greatness: respect, anticipation, and the awareness that every game is part of a much larger narrative. As the Lakers navigate the challenges ahead, the stage is set for a dramatic convergence. The return of LeBron James, the ongoing duel with the Warriors, and the relentless pursuit of legacy in a league where every moment counts. The story continues, unfolding with each practice, each recovery session, and each game, as the Lakers fight to maintain momentum and redefine their identity in LeBron's absence. Every player, every coach, and every analyst is watching, knowing that when LeBron steps back onto the court, the consequences will ripple throughout the NBA, rewriting expectations, rivalries, and championship ambitions. The anticipation builds, the stakes rise, and the narrative thickens. Because in professional basketball, the presence of an icon changes everything, and LeBron James is that icon. The anticipation surrounding LeBron James' return to the Lakers reached a fever pitch as the team approached its next series of games. Analysts and fans alike speculated on how the lineup adjustments during his absence would hold up once he stepped back on the court. While Luka Doncic had admirably carried the offensive and defensive load, Draymond Green's earlier remarks about the intangible impact of LeBron highlighted a broader reality. Basketball is as much psychological as physical, and the presence of a transcendent star alters the dynamics of every matchup. Teams prepare differently, opponents strategize differently, and even referees' interactions can subtly shift when LeBron is actively leading the floor. The Lakers coaches were acutely aware that balancing minutes, rotations, and energy levels would be essential in the next games, particularly as LeBron's rehab timeline remained uncertain. Each practice was now a careful orchestration, combining high-intensity drills with recovery sessions designed to prevent fatigue or aggravation of the sciatica. Meanwhile, the Warriors, buoyed by their opening night victory, maintained a watchful eye on the Lakers' adjustments. Draymond Green, already attuned to the mental edge LeBron provides, emphasized to his teammates that the psychological battle begins long before the ball is tipped. "It's not just who's on the floor," Green remarked in a team meeting, "it's how they play, how they communicate, and how they influence the energy in the arena. LeBron doesn't just play, he changes the game." This mindset informed Golden State's preparation for upcoming encounters, as they analyzed patterns, tendencies, and adjustments made by the Lakers without their leader. The team's analytical staff worked overtime, reviewing film, projecting potential lineups, and identifying both opportunities and vulnerabilities presented by LeBron's absence. Inside the Lakers facility, players felt the weight of responsibility. Role players who normally operate within defined spaces now had to expand their contributions, communicating more actively, rotating defensively with precision, and creating scoring opportunities in ways they might not have without LeBron commanding attention. The coaching staff emphasized the importance of maintaining composure and confidence, reminding everyone that resilience is forged in moments of adversity. Each scrimmage became a test not just of skill but of mental toughness, as players learned to anticipate and compensate for the void left by their superstar. Meanwhile, medical staff monitored LeBron's progress daily, ensuring that every movement, stretch, and workout adhered strictly to protocols designed to reduce risk while maintaining conditioning. Media narratives intensified, as reporters speculated endlessly about potential outcomes once LeBron returned. Headlines alternated between optimism and caution. Some hailed Luka's leadership as evidence that the Lakers could sustain momentum without LeBron, while others warned that the team's struggles in critical moments underscored the irreplaceable value of their star. Analysts debated whether LeBron's presence would immediately elevate the team's performance or if adjustments made in his absence would need to be integrated into a new, cohesive system. Public expectations, as always, created additional pressure, amplifying the significance of every practice, interview, and public statement. In the midst of all this, LeBron remained focused, disciplined, and private. Avoiding unnecessary media exposure, he concentrated on recovery strategies, mobility exercises, and gradual reintroduction to full-contact training. His reputation for meticulous preparation and relentless competitiveness meant that once cleared to play, he would not merely participate, he would seek to dominate. The Lakers staff maintained constant communication, coordinating with trainers, physical therapists, and performance specialists to ensure that his transition back onto the court would be as smooth and effective as possible. As the days passed, a sense of inevitability built within both locker rooms. For the Lakers, it was the anticipation of their leader's return and the opportunity to integrate him seamlessly into a team that had been adapting without him. For the Warriors, it was the preparation for renewed challenges, knowing that every matchup would once again be defined by the clash of LeBron's influence and the team's evolving strategies. Analysts predicted that the mental chess surrounding LeBron's return would have ramifications beyond a single game or series. It would affect standings, playoff seeding, and even player morale league-wide. The Lakers' journey during LeBron's absence underscored a crucial lesson about elite sports. Individual brilliance cannot be underestimated, and the impact of a single player can shape narratives, performance, and expectations across an entire league. As fans awaited the announcement of LeBron's return, anticipation mixed with anxiety, knowing that every possession, every adjustment, and every strategy would be magnified once the four-time MVP stepped back onto the court. The stage was set, the players were ready, and the basketball world waited to see how one of the greatest athletes of all time would reassert his influence, and how the Lakers, molded by his absence, would respond. As the countdown to LeBron James' return continued, the intensity around the Lakers organization reached unprecedented levels. Every player, coach, and staff member was acutely aware that the landscape of the season could shift dramatically the moment LeBron stepped back on the court. Practices were meticulously structured, balancing skill development, team chemistry, and physical conditioning, while carefully managing the workload of those who had carried the team during his absence. Luka Doncic, now firmly established as the offensive engine, was being prepared to seamlessly reintegrate with LeBron, allowing the team to exploit the combination of their talents without sacrificing balance or spacing. Every detail mattered: timing, rotations, defensive schemes, and communication. All had to be rehearsed and fine-tuned in anticipation of facing elite opponents once more. Meanwhile, the Warriors were tracking every development. Draymond Green, already a seasoned veteran of LeBron's presence on the court, emphasized to his teammates the subtle but critical differences that arise when facing a Lakers team with or without him. Green noted that LeBron's impact extends beyond points and assists. His leadership, court vision, and ability to elevate teammates' performance create a psychological edge that can swing momentum in critical moments. Golden State's strategy sessions became increasingly focused on anticipating how the Lakers would integrate LeBron while adjusting their defensive rotations and offensive matchups to counter the duo of LeBron and Doncic. The analytical staff dissected previous encounters, identifying patterns in LeBron's playmaking, court spacing, and interaction with teammates, preparing contingency plans for every possible scenario. In Los Angeles, the media spotlight intensified. Every report on LeBron's recovery, every hint of his mobility or training progress, became fodder for speculation and narrative building. Fans, analysts, and rivals alike dissected each piece of news, weighing potential outcomes for the Lakers' upcoming schedule. Headlines vacillated between cautionary optimism, emphasizing the challenges of reintegrating a superstar mid-season, and excitement over the possibilities of a full-strength Lakers roster. This constant scrutiny amplified the pressure on the team, but also reinforced the broader narrative of professional basketball as a blend of performance, strategy, and psychology. The anticipation surrounding LeBron's return became a story in itself, capturing the attention of the entire league. The Lakers' internal preparations reflected a broader philosophy of adaptability and resilience. Coaches stressed that while LeBron's return would provide a tremendous boost, the team's growth during his absence could not be discarded. Players were encouraged to maintain confidence, continue developing on-court chemistry, and integrate lessons learned from managing games without their leader. The emphasis was on synergy, ensuring that LeBron's presence would enhance rather than disrupt the systems that had been evolving during his recovery. Every training session, video review, and scrimmage was part of a carefully orchestrated plan to merge individual brilliance with team cohesion seamlessly. Simultaneously, LeBron James himself remained disciplined and focused, navigating a recovery process that demanded both patience and precision. The sciatica required not only physical rehabilitation but also mental fortitude, as he balanced the urgency to return with the need for sustainable health. Trainers and medical staff monitored every movement, stretching, and exercise, ensuring that his reintegration onto the court would not trigger a recurrence of the condition. LeBron's reputation for preparation and determination assured teammates and fans that once he returned, he would contribute at the highest level, capable of influencing both the scoreboard and the intangible dynamics of leadership, morale, and team identity. The stage was now set for a dramatic convergence. A Lakers roster shaped by adversity, a recovering superstar ready to return, and a league poised to witness the renewed clash of talent, strategy, and history. Draymond Green's earlier reflections underscored the weight of this moment, reminding everyone that every matchup involving LeBron carries implications beyond the statistics, affecting morale, rivalry intensity, and the perception of excellence. Analysts projected that LeBron's return could redefine the Lakers' trajectory for the season, potentially reshaping playoff positioning and team dynamics across the league. As anticipation mounted, every possession, every rotation, and every tactical adjustment became critical. The Lakers were not merely preparing for games, they were preparing for a statement, a demonstration of resilience, adaptability, and the return of a generational talent whose influence extends far beyond any single matchup. Fans, coaches, and players alike braced for the moment when LeBron James would step back onto the court, knowing that his presence would instantly shift the landscape of the NBA. The narrative of the season, shaped by injuries, strategy, and the absence of a superstar, was about to enter its most intense and consequential chapter yet. The Lakers' journey, punctuated by challenges, recovery, and strategic evolution, illustrates the intricate interplay of leadership, skill, and psychology in professional basketball. LeBron's imminent return is more than just the resumption of play. It symbolizes the revival of opportunity, the heightening of competition, and the relentless pursuit of excellence that defines both the Lakers and the league. Every eye is now on Los Angeles, every analyst is watching, and every opponent is preparing, because when LeBron James returns, the NBA will once again feel the full force of his presence, forever altering the dynamics of the game.